Immune dysfunctions. That is what this topic class is about. Dysfunctions of your immune system.
Dysfunctional.
Now, how do they work? How does an immune... Like, why do people adopt immune dysfunctions? What do they do?
So sometimes it's easier than being immune.
Okay, tell me about that. Why is it easier? Why would it be easier?
Well, sometimes when you to react, which is usually immune dysfunction, like get angry or scared or recoil, is just a reaction, and it's just less energy than being immune and moving towards something, or rising up above something.
I want to actually posit an idea here that the person who adopts an immune dysfunction cannot mount an immune response. They simply are not able to. So it's not easier. It's actually just what's possible for the person.
I see that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Greg, can you say any more about that?
Well, it's all that they're capable of right then. And they will not, unless they actually move forward immunically, they won't progress any past that point. Ever. That'll always be there as a response.
It's like a habit.
Now, one of the ways that you cure things is by doing counter-symptomatic behaviors. Let me give you an example. Barb, you have a way of making money.
I have several ways, yeah.
So now, let's say you don't do any of the ways of making money that you have. This then compromises your immune system. So now, you have this compromised immune system, you have no money. So what would be some immune dysfunctions? Let's say, okay, wait, let me slow down a little bit. That feels bad. So like feels bad to, like, let's say not have your rent or whatever it is that goes on when you don't have money. So what would you do? What immune dysfunctions would you adopt to avoid the bad feeling of not having money?
Taking a job that's unrelated to my mission, or seemingly unrelated.
Okay, so that's one thing. What's another one?
Feel bad about myself, or...
Okay, let's go with that. You would feel bad about yourself. You would. What form would that take? Like act it out. Show us.
Well, ironically, it seems like the less money I have, or the more worse I felt about myself, the more I would engage in, low-dimensional activities, or just, not go out, not try.
What's a low-dimensional activity?
Using drugs, or hanging out with the wrong people, or just.
Okay, good. That's right. See, these are all common garden variety immune dysfunctions. Using drugs, hanging out with the wrong people. And those things actually work. They cause you not to feel the bad feeling of not having the money that you need. Yes? Be they whatever, distractions or whatever they... Yeah? So that's how they work. Immune dysfunctions actually do immunize you to the thing you're trying to immunize yourself to. They are the duct tape of the psyche. You know, there's a hole in the nuclear reactor. It's going to blow. Put some duct tape on it.
Results of the glue.
And we can walk away and forget the whole thing. Now, let me go to Greg.
Yeah.
Remember yesterday you were doing part 2 of the outline with, what was his name? Ryan.
Ryan, yeah.
At any point when you started doing part 2, was there any point or any place there where you felt uncomfortable?
Because I didn't remember it.
And then the part you were doing was where you had to tell them it was a cult.
Yeah. I felt a little uncomfortable, yeah. That's what I was. But I felt uncomfortable, yet I still said it, and I made it kind of comical. As did you, by the way.
You made it kind of
Made it
comical.
light.
Uh-huh.
And I did too. I made it light.
Uh-huh.
But still, I think I was direct and truthful in it, in my intention in the communication.
Well, why don't you and everybody here test? Did any immune dysfunction operate at any time in those few minutes, just those very few minutes, where Greg began to do part 2 of the outline? What do you test?
I guess yes.
I got yes, and it was really over not remembering it, and I thought it could incur the wrath of God from you for not knowing part 2.
Which never happened.
What?
Okay, what about Barb? What did you get when you tested it?
Yes.
And Franny, what did you get?
I got yes, and I was talking about my dysfunction today with Priscilla, and I realized that when I'm in a dysfunction, I make up a lot of stuff about what's supposedly going on. It's not true.
And I want you to test something. Everybody test this. Right now, just in this, a minute ago, when Greg was saying what his immune dysfunction was about and why he adopted it, because he thought I was going to attack him, in there, had he adopted any immune dysfunction?
Guess yes.
Barb?
Yeah.
Barb?
Yes.
Greg?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see what your immune dysfunction was just a minute ago when you were... Just a minute ago when you were explaining...
A reason for... it really was what was going on at the time. But still, I was giving a reason for...
I think reasons are actually on the list of immune dysfunctions.
I know. That's why I said it.
Well, I noticed with my session with Priscilla that a lot of what I do when I fall into a dysfunction it's a defense. Like I'm defending myself against something that I think is coming at me when it's totally not. Like there's nothing like that. I've made it up. But I get very defensive. That's the main feeling I have.
Well, Franny, that is the definition of an immune dysfunction. An immune dysfunction is defending you against the effects of no immunity somewhere.
But I never really saw it as clearly as I did today. That I always thought of it as, a certain kind of behavior or something, but really it was defense.
You know, I just wanted to say to Barb that I think you're taking this job in Santa Fe was a good idea.
Albuquerque, yeah, I think so.
I mean, in Albuquerque, because you're broadening your perspective.
Right.
You're giving yourself a chance to check the bumper sticker handouts in that area of the world.
Yeah, right.
You're seeing if you can, basically just make more money in Albuquerque.
Yeah, and it's basically like Albuquerque's like any city in the USA. It's a bit of a way to experiment.
No, it may be one of the best cities in the U.S. for us.
I mean, because Santa Fe is kind of unique, whereas Albuquerque is more like what it would be like if I went to any other city.
Well, I like it, and test this question. Was the basic thing of taking that job, was it an immune dysfunction?
No.
Everybody test it. Was that an immune dysfunction?
You got no.
I got no.
No, me too.
Yeah, I mean, like me, like cleaning somebody's house here or something like that was more like an immune dysfunction. This was more like using, it's like being hired as a consultant, sort of. Or she likes Immunix and it seems more aligned.
Sounds good to me.
To me, you seem really grounded and connected,
Yeah.
which is sober, and that's a good feeling to me, rather than all the other stuff that I might put out, or maybe you do.
Yeah, like I'm really just hustling just to stay alive here. That was more of an immune dysfunction. Not seeing what to do.
Well, as you were saying, you have a nice space there to live in.
And I still have this place too, so it's all good. It'll be good for me to take some distance.
The space that you're in shapes your consciousness.
Yes, that's so true. I had, immediately when I got there, I had a different perspective on things.
And you always inhabit beautiful spaces, and you have often very nice animals in them too.
I know, I love making spaces. Nice. So that's always fun.
So now we're seeing a lot about everyday garden variety immune dysfunctions. A lot of these things are just not on the list of immune dysfunctions. They are just, they're things that they're just common things that we grab onto. Like, I'll tell you what classic immune dysfunction is. A woman has a fight with her husband and she goes and talks to her friend.
Yeah.
And commiserates about her husband.
And the friend commiserates. Yeah.
Commiserating is an immune dysfunction. That's on the list. Simple things like that. She's not dealing with her relationship for 25 years.
And she wants to be told that she's right.
People give up on each other. Now, Franny, you were saying that you gave up on Greg that last time you were in Chicago. And I was saying I thought that was good to let him fail and learn from that. The question,
Well,
you were wondering, was it an immune dysfunction to give up that way? Test that.
Well, I think it was an immune dysfunction as far as giving up rather than seeing that he just had to go through something. And then I didn't want to go back to Chicago. There were other reasons too, but I just said, well, okay, that's it. I'm not going to, I'm just going to leave him there and see how he does,
What did you get when you tested that, Greg? Was that her immune dysfunction, giving up? Was that an immune dysfunction?
I never got that, and I knew what she was doing.
Barb, did you get that it was an immune dysfunction for her to do that?
For her to give up? No.
Me either, because I think that you threw Greg's responsibility on him. And ultimately, that worked out very well.
Yeah, it was really scary as shit.
Are you scared of shit?
No, I mean, I was going to say hell. I should have said hell. It was scary to do that, though. It was really scary.
Well, you do scary things because you are immune enough to do them.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. We're talking about counter-symptomatic behaviors. Because a symptomatic behavior would be to just keep going to Chicago and trying to, like, make the best of it. Symptomatic.
Wow, I never thought of it this way. This is really interesting.
Yeah, symptomatic behaviors are often things like just putting up with something. That's a symptom. Okay. I'm going to name some typical immune dysfunctions. And I want you to test if you have that immune dysfunction. This will give people a sense of the scope of immune dysfunctions. That's the only reason I'm doing this in this movie. I picked these by testing, so I have no idea what God had in mind, why I've got these 4 out of 200 immune dysfunctions. I have 4 or 5 of them. So one is effort.
Yes, I have effort.
You test, you have that one.
Effortine.
And Barb, what about you?
No, not now. I've had it.
Ross, what about you? Do you have this one?
I get no.
I don't have it right now, but I have had it.
Okay, Greg, tell us what it has been like for you to be in that immune dysfunction.
Well, it just takes more effort.
Huh.
Effort begets effort. And then I get tired, and then something else might kick in. Like, I've had enough. And the effortine is not the answer. There are times to put out an effort if the immune dysfunction is not applying yourself. You have to counter that. That's not what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
Talking, like, it's usually in terms of something else that I'm at a place, like I'm, again, like self-protecting, I'm arguing, and I would put more effort into it in order to be right or to get some results. I'm already a goner, you know, dysfunctional.
Well
So
said. Well said.
Are we talking about
now.
Are we talking about immune dysfunctions we are having right now, or we've had in the past?
No, we're just
But
talking about
different.
ones that are on the list right now. Like, this one is on the list of immune dysfunctions. That's why...
Yes, okay, but are we talking about immune dysfunctions we are having right this moment?
No, we're just
Or-
talking
No,
about
no.
the immune dysfunction
Okay.
of effort. So if you've ever experienced it, you can tell us a little about it.
Okay.
Have you ever experienced it?
Yes.
So tell us a little about it.
Okay, doing things I have to do, but I don't want to do, and so it takes an effort. Doing things I don't like, and but having to do them, and so it's an effort. Oh my God, I have to do this. No, I don't want to do it, but I have to. I can't lose any more time, and so I do it, but I'm not happy about doing it.
Well, you know what? The thing if you don't adopt this immune dysfunction, then what may happen either you'll do the thing without effort, or you may just change your life so that you
Sure.
don't have to do those things.
Yes.
So if you stop to think about it, changing your life would be immunizing yourself.
Sure. Yes.
Whereas making the effort and doing the thing would be compensating for not changing your life.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Also, you can, work hard, effort, I think it's when you associate, like, gee, if I effort enough, then I'll get something. That's like the immune dysfunction.
Yeah, effort, a lot of immune dysfunctions are adopted in order to create a virtual reality.
Yeah.
So, a person may feel like they're going to get something when they're making an effort.
Right.
Like they're in this virtual reality, it's like they've already got the thing.
But the effort is in that there is no end that's possible through that. I mean, that it's like spinning your gears. If you don't know if you're not manifesting it and you start efforting, it's kind of wasted energy because it's not directed towards the right thing. That you make any sense. It's not really what I wanted to say, but it's kind of coming out that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is good. Okay, the next one is non-positional.
Non-positional.
What, Frank?
But maybe if I understand it, I could test it, but I could probably I can test it without understanding it. I could know.
Well, whether I've done me, yes, I've done that in arguments or something like maybe Byard and Franny are talking about something in the past. I've not done that recently.
Uh-huh.
But you both have positions on something. And to me, my position was, you guys are arguing, but it's not really, I'm not really addressing what the key thing is you're talking about. And so I'm not really there in the conversation.
Yes. In order to exist, you have to have a position. Thank you. So, in other words, being non-positional is literally a way of disappearing.
Yeah.
And
it was a way of protection, going back to what Franny was saying.
yeah, it's a way. Well, yeah, they all are, because
Yeah.
an immune dysfunction. You have to keep remembering, an immune dysfunction does protect you against something.
Yeah.
Like
Like a feeling or whatever.
like, have you ever thought that cancer is an immune dysfunction of the cells? That the cells are trying to do something by becoming cancerous?
It's the same thing with putting on weight. Your body's trying to solve its
Yeah.
problems.
Diabetes is the same thing.
Yeah.
The next one is non-selectivity. Who's got that one?
Me no.
Franny has it.
I do.
I refuse to select that one. I'm not sure if that's it, but something else.
Barb, what'd you get?
Me no.
Okay, Barb, what'd you get?
Yeah, I have that.
Well, Barb, you tell us about non-selectivity and what that's like.
I'm not sure if I know what it is, but I think the first thing comes up is in relationship, how I sometimes won't pick anybody, or when I do pick somebody, I'll unpick them, and,
Yeah, it's interesting.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or I want something, and then as it gets closer, then I don't want it.
I'm not really playing the game. I'm not really here again. Like, I'm just gonna watch.
Franny's has it too, so she could go ahead, Barb.
I can see that, like, sometimes when I want to argue things, I don't select the correct, I mean, I just start in on everything. I try and bring everything in rather than really being selective about what I want to talk about or who I want to talk to about it. I just start in with everything that I've ever wanted to, like, dump on some, or talk about.
That is a form of non-selectivity. And you can see how, well, how does that immunize you?
Oh, good question.
Or how does it keep away the feeling that you're not immune or whatever it does?
Well,
I know,
one thing it does is it gives me the illusion of trying to talk about stuff, and I'm doing something rather than nothing, and I'm going for something, and whatever has built up inside of me starts coming out in anger or whatever. Like, it's just all pouring out. Like, I think my old, psychologist used to say that. She said, you sit on things until you can't stand it anymore, and then you blow up and it all comes out. Like, whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be in the right situation. And that is something I did. And she also told me I had this, like, what she used to call my famous smoke screen. Like, if it was really something that I want to talk about, I'd throw all this other stuff out instead, and not really get to the point. And that was to defend myself against actually discussing the thing that I should have been discussing. Or not. I needed to do it all along, and instead of saving it up.
Barb, what were you going to say about it?
I was going to say, I'm not sure if this is exactly it, but non-selectivity gives you have the illusion of feeling immune because you don't really pick anything, so you don't have to feel yourself. It feels like you're, clear, but you're really not because there's no confront or no choice made.
It creates the virtual reality of clarity.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
Well, I can see when you think about having relationships, Barb, that you you don't really want to look at what would be really, or you don't know how to actually look at what would be fulfilling. So you create this whole scenario that takes the place of really being able to see who the person is. Like, it's going to be this wonderful thing, and somewhere inside you know it's kind of the wrong choice.
Well, one thing that we can see from this conversation about these immune dysfunctions is that the same immune dysfunction can take many different forms. Like non-selectivity can be non-selectivity about a partner or a TV set, or it can be non-selectivity about what to deal with when you're angry. So obviously this is an extremely complex subject. And it gets more complex with the next one that I'm going to use as an example. Because the next example is hiding.
What?
Hiding.
Okay.
Who's got hiding?
Me? Me, yes.
Okay. Who else?
I'm not going to say.
No. Greg, you're on mute.
Ah!
You're on mute, Greg.
Okay.
Yeah, I have had hiding, and that's why I ended up with the joke that I'm not going to say I can, I can hide from this. But absolutely.
Barb, what about you? Barb?
I've had hiding. I don't think I'm engaging it right now. I know what that is. I'm good at it. But I don't think I'm, I guess I have some of that. I like flying under the radar. Yesterday after the meeting, I just kind of like turned the lights off and went to bed. Like there's not much else to do, so that's what I did. But I don't think that's necessarily hiding.
No.
I'm just going to bed earlier, so. I also woke up early, so it's just a different routine. But I have done it in my past. I don't think I'm doing it now.
Well, also it was Monday night.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I think living with people again, or, being here, I don't think I'm hiding. I used to be really good at it and, like, seek it out, and now I'm not. I can't believe how different I am compared to, like, way back when I used to be originally on staff. I was so used to having, just living alone. I even lived alone in college in a dormitory. I had my own room. I never thought I could live with people. That was kind of what fascinated with me as being on staff, and now I just feel totally immune to people in a good way. So I don't really hide that much. In fact, I'm almost the opposite. I like.
All right, well, now, okay, let me give you some of the subcategories of hiding. This is from the list of immune dysfunctions. So all of these things are subcategories of hiding. The first one is invisibility, and then there's a slash, and then obviousness. So you can hide by making yourself invisible or by making yourself obvious. Anybody got either of those?
Me, invisibility.
Okay.
I was broadcasting all the time what I was hiding and trying to be, not really trying to be obvious about it, but still hiding. So it seemed like, oh boy, this guy's really outgoing. He's really,
Yeah.
he's got, he's alive. There's something really going on there. At the same time, I was really holding back and hiding. So,
Okay.
I've experienced that.
Okay, another subcategory of hiding is sex, promiscuity. Anybody have that?
Me no.
Greg?
Come on, Ross. That's
I have. I mean, it's
Me
definitely
no,
part
Barb. I swear, cross my heart.
all right. I'll just say real quick that I've had that, and also sometimes even being out with the chair drive and all that. Sometimes by pretending like I'm doing something or have someone on the side or whatever, it makes me feel like I'm hiding by looking normal or looking like I'm busy or having fun.
I basically learned how to hide sex when I was young. It was sort of not right to have sex. And if I wanted it or I was feeling that way, I would hide it like crazy. Like I'm
What do you mean when you were young?
Grr. But no, I mean, I think that's always been something that I was not really outgoing about, and whatever it was sexually. But of course, in different situations, I would not. I mean, I would want sex, and it was like I was passive aggressive. I would exude something, or I'd say, "Oh, I want sex." At the same time, "Oh no, not me. I'm just." Oh my God, it's over here. Oh, are you interested in me? Oh, that's wonderful. Come here, little girl. You know, I don't know. It's just really
Ew!
manipulative.
Okay, another one is attractiveness and unattractiveness are ways of hiding. People make themselves unattractive or attractive to hide. Anybody got that?
I definitely have that one. I have gone through real periods of being very unattractive and being scared of being attractive, and I mean being overweight and being unattractive.
Okay.
It's a defense.
All right, anybody else? Attractiveness, unattractiveness.
Attractiveness.
Russ has attractiveness, okay.
Yes.
Way of hiding, okay. Greg, Barb?
Oh yeah, definitely. Being attractive, being fit. Although that being fit is not it, but that would be part of being attractive. You know, like I would work out to be more attractive. Not just physically. It was everything. It was you know, more together and able. Very much.
Or
I've definitely had that too. I remember reading an article about Angelina Jolie, about how she was working on a movie and she was the only female on the set and all the guys were hitting on her, so she like didn't take a shower for like a week. Like she tried to make herself really unattractive on purpose so people would leave her alone. I've done that because like sometimes I've been over cocky, like I know that I look good, so I can make myself just let myself go because I can, as Jerry Rosen would say, we can clean up well. But or I've like had a real priority of having a really attractive partner or friend so that I look good, you know, because I feel bad about myself, so I can have something, make sure I had a really pretty girl or guy to hang out with. So it meant something to me or something. So I definitely had ideas about that both ways.
I think that's true of me too, as far as like choosing like people who would aid me in hiding.
I know. I was realizing that with Stacy. I have so much attached to these people. It's, don't leave me. I don't want to be alone without an attractive person next to me.
Okay, another one is passivity and aggressiveness.
Uh-oh. Yes.
Yes, me, yes.
Now, are you passivity or aggressive?
Both.
Both. I would say me too are both. Greg?
Yeah, I've had both. No, it's not.
I'd say that your thing is passivity for hiding.
Oh yeah, for hiding. Yeah, that's right. It's hiding. This is a subset of hiding. But see, I think I've been more aggressive in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a real change for me. It felt very weird to act so differently.
Uh-huh.
has almost apologized and said, gee, I never acted this weird, but I was just being more aggressive. Well, the thing, I was, you know, it's, so I was, still wasn't clearing up the dysfunction, it's just taking a little different approach.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell you what. Now everybody, I tweeted the list of immune dysfunctions, so it shouldn't be too far down in the tweets if you're looking for it. Or you can go to the hub and it's right there.
Yeah.
Go to the list of immune dysfunctions, test for a letter of the alphabet, and then test for an immune dysfunction under that alphabet letter, and come up with one immune dysfunction to talk about for you.
Okay.
Now for the person watching this, this is how you actively root out your immune dysfunctions, by going to that list and you run your finger down the list. Oh, like, let me do mine. Here, let me see here. Oh, wait a minute, here we go. You know, realizing, okay, see, there are letters at the top, right there. So I'm going to go through these letters, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so I got F. So now I punch F. And let me see EF. Here we go. F only has 4 of them. Okay, so the one I got for myself is forestalling. Now,
That's kind of what I was talking about when you like try and stop the action.
uh-huh.
I don't know. It gets so like aggressive about it. I got J, which is joining, and I have absolutely no idea what it says 3 after it. Like, what the heck does that mean? Joining.
Sometimes it takes a little while thinking about these things. You know, it takes a few minutes.
Well, we also ought to note that there are little asterisks after each. Well, some of them don't have it, but some of them have it, and it categorizes them by whether they're just a trauma or deformity, or whether, like 3, which is what joining is, really becomes an addiction behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It says that manifests addiction or addiction-related behaviors or are in sympathy with addictions caused by a combination of trauma and deformity. So it takes the first 2 and combines them and makes them a real whammy. Like, what's your forestalling? Let's see. Your forestalling has 2. So that is just emotional dysfunction caused by trauma.
I have limit quantities.
That's your dysfunction?
Quarantine down.
Yes.
Yours has become an addiction based on trauma and deformity.
You know, all I can think of about forestalling, for me, is that a lot of times when someone is like they're breaking through in a way that I want them to, for whatever reason I have this emotional response where I want to forestall their breakthrough. I don't know why that is, but it's definitely something I've observed. If I look back over where I have felt like this forestalling feeling, that's, you know, where I notice it. You know, it's like they're...
And you've gotten something from them in there when they were not breaking through. When, you know, I mean, you like to talk to people. You really...
No. Oh, wait a minute. You know, that's something to think about. Maybe I'm trying to forestall their breakthrough because I want to talk to them.
You're going to lose them in a way. They're going to move on.
Well, that sounds right to me. That sounds right.
Well, and I've seen that in operation with you.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
any number of people, like the woman from Jacksonville, Florida, writing the book and all that.
Right. Excuse me 1 second. Go talk about yours. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Well, mine, that I just tested quickly on a few, and I came up on I, and I just went, went around, just right here, right there, and I tested in gratitude. Now, by the way, when you click on that page, for anyone who's doing that, you don't get gratitude right away. You get a lesson page for cure cancer, skill 1. So we're going to have to fix that. But on that page is gratitude, and you click on that, and you get to the it's part of the block cancer page, gratitude. By gratitude, we mean a chronic failure to be grateful. And it's actually a failure to be grateful, but not a... It's not a passive thing. It's actually an active thing aimed at the giver to stop the giver from giving, is what it says here. And I see that I just stop the action. I stop the relationship by just going, oh, and thank you.
Stop the giver from giving.
Stop the giver from giving. And I picked up this book. I can't remember the authors right now, but they're very good. And it's one is getting the love you want. One is getting that's in a relationship. Getting the love you find. That's for people who are single. And one is
Taking whatever love you can get.
getting the love you receive. Getting the love you want. Getting the love you receive. And it's particularly that how we have basically applied this to me right away. Was how, of course, we grow up in relationships, and that's how we really see ourselves and grow and fulfill ourselves. It's not just in an intellectual pursuit of God, it's in relationships. And our first relationships are our parents, and a lot of things they give us and a lot of things they don't give us. So in a way, in all our other relationships, we're trying to create and get what we didn't receive from our past relationships, particularly our parents or family, originally. So,
that would be an immune dysfunction. Trying to get what you didn't get.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I created relationships, many of them sort of mirroring my parents in myriads of ways. I mean, I keep saying, oh, that's what I used to have seen that before in me and in my family.
Or you tried to make the relationship mirror your parents.
Right, and therefore, if it didn't, the relationship might fail. I might, we might break up.
Well, in the enlightenment talk that I used to be fond of giving, during our other courses was that the thing, if you get the thing that, well, you can never recreate what you lost in the past. And even if it comes to you in a different form, you're going to reject it because it doesn't help the original injury. It's never going to solve the original injury.
Oh,
What, Greg? Are you okay?
No, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. It's supposed to be a joke.
Oh,
darn
okay.
it.
That's right. You see someone loving you in front of you, and it just isn't your father loving you, so you just say, "Go away, get lost." Here it says, Greg, one indicator of ingratitude is chronic lateness.
Right.
Chronic?
Lateness.
Okay.
Greg is a day late and $1 short for everything.
Well,
It's not usually $1 short, but
and not often late, but there are times, and that's what Freddie's saying. Like when she was around with me in Chicago, I would just leave for things late. I would show up for things late. I just not get on the stick. She doesn't like to be late.
Well, what about Barb? Did you come up with one?
Well, the letter I selected was T. I don't know where that came from, or where they moved it at. And T was talents. Actually, I got yes on all four. There's only 4 things: talents, techniques, technical, testing, allies, and trances. So.
You got them all. Boy, those were interesting. But let's just take the talents one. Can you see how your talents are immunologically, like they're compensating for a lack of immunity?
Yeah, we don't have to really go deep. Like this weekend when I was working with Anna over there in Albuquerque, she was like, "Wow, you're so good at so many things. You have so many talents." She even used that word. So many skills and talents. But it's kind of like dabbling in so many different things rather than going really deep in one thing. That's the first thing that comes to mind. And also, like being able to talk about stuff rather than myself. I know I've sort of scratched the surface of a lot of different things in life too. So I can sound like an authority on things, and maybe not. Not going deeper. Let's see what else.
Well, you got it. That's.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. I see that one too. Thanks, Bart.
Let me tell you, I had that, and I had to really discipline myself to just not use my abilities or talents to compensate for immunity. And I stopped. I really stopped using my talents in ways that were substituting for being strong, effective, having acumen. You know what we're going to do?
Yeah.
Next Tuesday we're going to study function.
That's good. That'll be positive.
So we'll go from this immune dysfunctions to functions, and we'll see what functions are supposed to be, which will throw a nice perspective onto this immune dysfunction discussion.
Yeah.
Because I think we're pretty much done for today. We've done quite a bit, and I think from this movie, pretty much anybody can see how to use the list of immune dysfunctions and how to tell what their immune dysfunctions are. I mean, it's not rocket science. Once you sort of familiarize yourself with the concept and hear a few examples, you're probably good to go. So this was a good lesson.
Yeah. Let me tell you something also. Rocket science is not always rocket science.
That's what Celeste used to say.
Sometimes it's just darn simple. Anyway, I don't know why that came from.
That is true though, because
It's not brain surgery, you know?
yeah, it's like lighting a firecracker.
It's not a Munich.
It's not a Munich, it's just brain surgery. I mean, brain surgery is pretty simple. Go in there and hit the right lobe. I don't know why I did all that. Just being funny.
Well, one thing about rocketry and brain surgery is that both of them need checklists.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you all.
And you?
Barb, thanks for making it over there and doing this meeting with us. I appreciate you.
Sure.
Right.
Thanks for doing it. See you next time, or tomorrow, too.
I'll see you tomorrow with Nancy. Okay, bye-bye.
I'll
Yeah.
try this tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, Ross.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, bye, love. Bye, bye, happiness.